If you do what you always did, you'll get what you've always gotten. And if you change what you've been doing, you'll get something new. Isn't that the truth? Of course it is. I know you know this. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows this. That's not the problem. The problem is that you're busy probably searching and searching and searching and searching. You're doing your research, or you don't think that you can do the research because you're overwhelmed because we live in this, you know, online social media world and there's access to so much out there. Here's the part that I personally know from all of my experience. Though there are some people who are very, very good at teaching, despite the fact that they can't actually do. Most people I've found who actually know how to teach something very well know that because they were there. They were there, they did it, they've been part of it, they've been involved in it, they've been inside the whole thing for a very long time, you know? So you have to find the people who make a lot of sense to you. You have to find the people for whom this stuff is their deep-seated understanding. Without that, without that, you don't know necessarily to trust them. Now, there are those out there who don't embody the perfected techniques, but they can teach. And the easiest way to find them is when they've become very popular and well known and revered, despite the fact that they can't actually do it themselves. When you know someone is doing something the way you want to have it done, you need to be able to make sure they know what they're doing when they teach. There's no doubt about that. Not everybody who can do something can teach. In fact, here's an example. You may have heard of the famous Hollywood film actor Marlon Brando. The guy couldn't teach worth shit, and he opened a school for theater and acting. But because he couldn't teach, it died. That school tanked. Now, the truth of this is that there are some people who don't know how to teach, but you want to always make sure that you find the people who can. When you find the people who know what it is that they're doing, because they've researched it and they've been able to actually do it themselves as well, then you got something going for you. If you do what you have always been doing, you'll get what you always got. And here, with these habits, with these principles, with this form of practice, when you listen to your buddy, amateur friend Jimmy or Edna or whoever it is, Murgatroyd. When you're listening to Murgatroyd and Murgatroyd sucks at doing this stuff and she's an amateur and she says, just go out and be yourself. Just go out and be authentic. It's as simple as that. And you see that Murgatroyd sucks at it, then why would you be paying attention to Murgatroyd? Why? Why? Officer, I don't know why I listen to Murgatroyd. Are you going to give me a ticket for shitty video content? You can't. You ought not to. You deserve not to. You have to actually go to the people who can teach you something different. Now, I'm not going to lay claim to the fact that I'm the only one teaching it differently. I just happen to know. I know all of those people teaching that scripted, templated, copy, paste. Yuck. Yech. All the people teaching the yech. Somehow, it has become perfectly acceptable in this online world. And I know you'll know this because you've seen it too. Why? Answer me this. Why in this online world do we accept and acknowledge that shitty scripted, templated, copy paste crapola is perfectly acceptable for sales and salespeople and business folks trying to sell in a desperate and manipulative fashion? Why is that something that's acceptable there, and yet we would not ever, 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 we would never actually tolerate that anywhere else in our lives? We can sniff it out. It smells bad, it looks bad, it feels bad, it even tastes bad. Glad we didn't step in it. So you tell me why, if in the rest of our natural living existence, we do not tolerate that, would we find people selling scripted, templated horse pucky to be perfectly acceptable in this online business space? It's not. So I don't teach it. I teach something better. I teach something that is spoken from your soul, that is that is not gussied up with the shiny, bad smelling, foul, fetid, feculent yuck that so many of those online business speaking coaches are offering. And I'm not even going to name names or throw them under the bus. I'm just going to tell it like it is. When someone tells you do that stuff, they don't know how to teach anything better. This is a very specific set of skills to be able to parse, disseminate, and structure incrementally a progression that you can use to turn yourself into the alternative to all of that stuff. This is a very substantial amount of information that you can learn if the person in question knows it. So when I tell you somebody who is telling you do scripted templated crap doesn't know any better than to do that, you can take it for what it's worth. You can say, Paul is just kind of some overly proud person who is poking at all those other folks. Or you can take a look and say, this way makes a lot of sense. This feels right. This is honest. This is ethical. This is non salesy. This is not designed as a script. So you can say that to yourself and you can believe the ones who actually show you something that makes a lot of sense, or you can just go with that other stuff. I know some people, giant ad YouTube ad agency. The guy who runs that, it's his business, tells you it's easy. All you have to do is just go out there and be authentic. It's not that easy. Most people's authenticity is boring. It's true. I just want you to make sure that you understand that the people who are telling you to do it a different way than everybody else, though some might be, delusional and talent free, there are many who actually know that salvation comes apart from all of the standardized, generic, run of the mill forms. Okay, I'll let this go for now. Speak to you later. Yar. Yar. Yar.